Hello, welcome to Biology, the Scientific Study of Life. Epithelial tissue. This tight backing enables the epithelium to function as a barrier against mechanical injury, microbes, and fluid loss. Some epithelia called glandular epithelia absorb or secrete chemical solutions. For example, the glandular epithelia that line the lumen cavity of the digestive and respiratory tracts form a mucous membrane. They secrete mucus that lubricates the surface and keeps it moist. The criteria for classifying epithelia are the number of cell layers and the shape of the cells in the exposed surface. A simple epithelium has a single layer of cells, whereas a stratified epithelium has a multiple tiers of cells. A stratified epithelium is a single layered but appears at the exposed surface, maybe copiable like dice, columnar like bricks standing on end, or squamous like floor tiles. Connective tissues. Connective tissues functions mainly to bind and support other tissues, in contrast to epithelia with their tightly packed cells. Connective tissues have a sparse population of cells scattered through an extracellular matrix. The matrix generally consists of a web of fibers embedded in a uniform foundation that may be liquid, jelly-like, or solid. In most cases, the substances that make up the matrix are secreted by the cells of the connective tissues. Connective tissue fibers, which are made of a protein, are of three kinds: collagenous fibers, elastic fibers, and reticular fibers. Collagenous fibers are made of collagen, probably the most abundant protein in the animal kingdom. Collagenous fibers are non-elastic and do not tear easily when pulled lengthwise. If you pinch and with some skin in the back of your hand, it is mainly collagen that keeps the flesh from tearing away from the bone. Elastic fibers are long threads made of a protein called elastin. Elastic fibers provide a rubbery quality that complements the non-elastic strength of collagen fibers. When you release the skin on the back of your hand, elastic fibers quickly restore the skin to its original shape. Reticular fibers are very thin and branched, composite of collagen and continuous with collagen fibers. They form a tightly woven fabric that joins connective tissue to adjacent tissues. The major types of connective tissue in vertebrate are loose connective tissue, adipose tissue, fibrous connective tissue, cartilage, bone, and blood. Among the cells scattered in loose connective tissue, two types predominate: fibroblasts and macrophages. Fibroblasts secrete the protein ingredients of the extracellular fibers. Macrophages are amoeboids, cells that home the maze of fibers engulfing foreign particles and the debris of dead cells by phagocytosis. We will learn more about the specific functions of those cells and various connective tissues. Muscle tissues is composite of long cells called muscle fibers that are capable of contracting, usually when stimulated by nerve signals arranged in parallel within the cytoplasm of muscle fibers. Fibers are large numbers of contracting units called myofibrils. Um, um, Made of proteins, actin, and myosin. Also, muscle is the most abundant tissue in most animals, and muscle contraction accounts for much of the energy consuming cellular work in an active animal. In the vertebrate body, there are three types of muscle tissue: skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Nervous tissue. Nervous tissue sends stimuli and transmits signals in the form of nerve impulses from one part of the animal to another. The functional unit of the nervous tissue is the neuron or nerve cell, which is uniquely specialized to transmit nerve impulses. In many animals, nervous tissue is concentrated in the brain, which functions as the control center that coordinates many of the animal's activities. Structure and function in animals. Organs and organ system in all but the simplest animals, sponges and some cnidarians. Different tissues are organized into organs. In some organs, the tissues are arranged in layers. For example, vertebrate stomach has four major tissues layers. First one is mucosa. The second layer is as shown in this figure, submucosa. The third one or fourth third one is musculus or muscularis, and fourth one is serosa. Okay. The mucosa is an epithelial layer that lines the lumen. The submucosa is a matrix connective tissue that contains blood vessels and nerves. The muscularis consists mainly of smooth muscle tissues. Serosa, external to muscularis, is the serosa. A thin layer is connective tissue. This is fourth one. External to the muscularis is the serosa, a thin layer of connective and epithelial tissues. Notice mucosa, submucosa, muscularis, and serosa. A thick epithelium lines the lumen and secretes mucus and digestive juices into it. Outside this layer is a zone of connective tissue surrounded by a thick layer of smooth muscle. Yet another layer of connective tissue encases the entire stomach. Many of organs of vertebrates are suspended by sheets of connective tissue called mesenteries in a moist or fluid-filled body cavities. Mammals have a thoracic cavity housing the lungs and heart that is separated from the lower abdominal cavity by a sheet of muscle called the diaphragm, representing a level of organization higher than organs. Organ systems carry out the major body functions. The most animals, each organ system consists of several organs and has specific functions, but the efforts of all systems must be coordinated for the animal to survive. For instance, nutrients absorbed from the digestive tract and distributed through the body by the circulatory system, but the heart, which pumps blood through the circulatory systems, depends on nutrients absorbed by the digestive tract as well as on oxygen obtained by the respiratory system. An organism's whether single-celled or an assembly of organ system is a ordinated living whole greater than the sum of its parts.